Welcome to Sage Audio. Today, we're covering how to mix vocals with free plugins. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Equalizing vocals with M-Equalizer. So first things first, the plugins that we're covering here are from independent developers. They're not stock plugins, so if you have a DAW, you should be able to get these working on your sessions. Also, I'm not going to be making a vocal chain, but first showing you 3 great EQs, then 3 great compressors, 3 saturators, and then show you how to use them on vocals. So without wasting more of your time, let's look at the first EQ. M-Equalizer is a 6-band parametric EQ with a helpful interface and some surprisingly advanced features. On this vocal, I'm going to cut the lows with a high pass, cut some of the fundamental to reduce muddiness, and then boost 4 kHz and then add some air with a shelf. I'll also change the bell filters to bell analog filters to make the Q values more indicative of analog equipment, and also introduce a little saturation up top to add even more vocal presence. So let's take a listen and notice how the vocal goes from kind of undefined to sounding a lot clearer.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
Affecting vocals with SSQ. If you prefer a semi-parametric EQ or an analog emulated one, SSQ by Analog Obsession is a great free option. With it, I'll do the same that I did in the last chapter. I'm going to use a high pass, dip some of the fundamental and add clarity with 4 kHz, and then add some air. The main difference that we're going to notice though is how analog emulated curves create a slightly different frequency response. So let's take a listen and notice if we hear a difference from chapter 1.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button. It helps us bring you more videos. Clarifying vocals with Overtone GEQ. Overtone GEQ by Voxengo is a graphic EQ with mild harmonic distortion added to make the sound more complex. I'll adjust the sliders and the frequencies above them to control what I attenuate and amplify. Like before, I'm going to dip the lows and boost some highs. We'll notice that with this EQ, the mild distortion and the fixed bandwidth of the bands is going to give it a distinct sound. So let's take a listen to it.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
Compressing vocals with M-Compressor. The M-Compressor offers a lot of advanced functionality like the M-Equalizer. With it, I'm going to select Custom Shape so that I can more precisely affect my ratio, knee, threshold, and pre-threshold ratio. I decided to set a short attack, short release, and then actually maximize the low-level signal. So let's listen and notice how this low-level maximization is controlling the vocal's dynamics even more so than the peak-down compression. Also, for the next 6 chapter demonstrations, I'm going to keep our M-Equalizer on just to clean up the vocal prior to any additional processing.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
Only a small percentage of people that watch our videos are subscribed, so if you're enjoying the video, consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Optical vocal compression with LA-LA. If you want a classic compression sound indicative of the LA2A, then the Analog Obsession's LA-LA is a good option. With it, I'll leave the sidechain portion off, then increase the gain and the peak reduction until I get a few dB of program-dependent attenuation. For an even more program-dependent sound, you could increase the peak reduction dial past 50, but I find this is too aggressive on vocals, so let's listen and notice how this compressor smooths the vocals out.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
Colorful compression with TDR Molotov. I wanted to cover this one in case you're looking to achieve a unique tone on your vocal. With a quick attack, quick release, and by varying the compression style, I can achieve some very distinct distortion. I'll compress more aggressively here just to make the effect more apparent. So let's take a listen and note how this compressor can control dynamics just like the other two, but can also add a really unique style to the vocal.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
Wave shaping vocal with M Saturator. The M Saturator is going to have a similar effect to the maximization that I did with the M Compressor back in Chapter 3, but it's going to give us more control. For vocals, I recommend using a soft mode and enabling the harmonic section, but keeping the sliders at a low percentage. A second ordered harmonic is going to add some warmth to the vocal, and a fourth is going to add mids that are in key with the track. So let's take a listen and notice how the vocal becomes fuller and more upfront.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
If you're enjoying the channel, join the community with the link in the description. Transistor distortion with prefet. I wanted to include this one since it can create a great sound without much effort. In short, it's a really realistic sounding transistor saturator that can add a really great tone and timbre to your vocal. All you need to do is increase the drive dial and adjust the gain compensation. And there really isn't much more to it, so let's take a listen and notice how it provides unique sounding saturation.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
Tube amp saturation on vocals. Voxingo's Tube Amp is kind of a classic free plugin. It has a great sound and it's easy to use. Simply increase the drive function, cycle between two modes to find one that you like, enable oversampling if you're distorting heavily, and then adjust the bias to change the timbre. Let's take a listen to the plugin and notice how it gives the vocal character, makes it fuller, and also notice how cycling through some of these options gives us a lot to work with.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
Free channel strip for vocals. For these last two chapters, I wanted to look at some unique vocal plugins that are still incredibly useful. Geneve by Analog Obsession gives us a Neve 1073 preamp emulation, a de-esser, a semi-parametric EQ, compressor, limiter, and tape saturation. That said, I'm going to equalize like I did in the first three chapters, compress like I did earlier as well, and then add some tape and preamp saturation to achieve a unique tone. I'll also use the de-esser to control some sibilants. So if you use this plugin, know that everything works how you'd expect and similar to how we covered in previous chapters. So let's take a listen and consider if you could use this plugin to replace some of the other ones on your vocal.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
Transient emphasis on vocals. If you're working on hip-hop, pop, or other genres in which vocal pronunciation and transient detail is important, then I'd really recommend trying Diablo Lite by Somatics. By increasing the punch function and soft clipping, we can achieve a really aggressive sound that works surprisingly well on vocals. The mix dial also is going to help when you're trying to find the right amount of the effect, so I'd recommend trying that as well. Also, as an added bonus for those of you stuck around to the end of the video, Somatics makes another free plugin called Origin, which is great for achieving a lo-fi sound on your vocals. So let's take a listen to both and consider how the first works well for pop and hip-hop, while the Origin plugin could be great for maybe BGVs or lo-fi genres.
The engineer's crazy, this train's off the tracks. She is a weapon, brighter than heaven, curved like a sword, a shark in the water.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.